Hello guys, my name is Saurabh. I am going to continue to talk about artificial intelligence from where we left off in the previous video. In the first video of this series, I introduced artificial intelligence, explained what is an AI and what can it do. Afterwards, I presented two generally used classification for AIs. In this video, we will see why we use AIs, basically what are AIs applications in different aspects of our lives. Guys, right now for some people, digital world and web is the dream. For some, nanotechnology is the future, and for some, gene editing technologies such as CRISPR and robotic surgeries are the manifestation of humanity's future. But I promise you, even for those of us with such ideas and dreams, AI will be an inseparable part of future to a degree which will make it impossible to stay ahead in a field without AI knowledge and skills. So stay tuned for an interesting story, as it is what this is. Previously, it was explained what an AI can do. Anything we can get our minds around can be done by one type of AI or another, and some AIs will be able to do all of them together. Fantastic? Yeah, absolutely. Whenever I think of AIs and our reason for using them, I come up with this straight answer. We simply need them. After centuries of traditional learning with a sluggish speed, first came the printing revolution, which made general population access to books and knowledge easier. Afterwards came the electrical industrialization and digital revolution, which made us desire knowledge in different areas more and more. Nowadays, anybody and everybody wants to learn or is learning. Life without learning is, well, not life. But there is a big problem that is showing itself to us more and more. Digital revolution made knowledge production a lot easier, and we are experiencing an unwanted backlash from this progress. In the next few decades, no matter how hard we try, as we are now, we cannot keep up with the knowledge that is getting produced in our field. Did you notice that I even said in our field? I am not even saying that we want to be Orochimaru, wanting to learn everything. And why, you may ask? Because we don't live long enough. We don't have enough time, and at the same time production of knowledge is getting faster and faster every year. Imagine working on a prototype based on a newly developed state-of-art chemical model, and after 6 months another breakthrough happens and the previous model gets a major upgrade. Your effort may go down the drain. Maybe today such cases are not happening enough to make you believe such scenarios will be possible, but believe me when I say that the day is not far. Responding to this modern day problem is the first application of AIs. We need new methods for learning. I am not talking about learning algorithms, just learning in a general sense. In the future, we need faster and more efficient learning methods. Methods to aid us in learning the vast knowledge that will be at our disposal but would be impossible to learn the way we are. And since our minds are reaching their efficiency threshold, for now we have two choices. First is becoming cyborgs and improving our brains by modification using nanomachines or larger aiding atoms. Second is using external tools, for example, faster and smarter computers with the ability to simplify the data and knowledge to our level and present it to us. Both options need the concept of AI to come to our aid. Managing nano in a bio-interaction level and connecting human body to external equipments will be impossible without an AI. Learning algorithms and AIs are able to process large amount of data, information, knowledge, and with a much higher speed than any human could do. The next thing that we want to use the AIs for is for them to help us solve all types of problems. Our brains are miraculously able to memorize a large amount of data, but having this data in our memory is something, and using them actively and consciously to discover interdisciplinary relations and interactions between different objects and subjects is a completely different thing. Unlike us, AIs with proper memory and processing power will be able to store large amount of data not in a passive manner but in an active, constantly available manner, and they will be able to analyze them simultaneously to reach almost perfect conclusions. We want them to utilize these characteristics to help us solve complex problems not in an approximate way but in an exact one. We want the AIs to help us in knowledge representation. Knowledge representation and reasoning is is the field of artificial intelligence dedicated to representing information about the world in a form that a computer system can use it to solve complex tasks such as diagnosing a medical condition or having a dialogue in a natural language. Formal knowledge representations are used in content-based indexing, scene interpretation, clinical decision, knowledge discovery, and other areas. We simply want the AIs to help us understand their environment and, if needed, explain it to us in an understandable way. There are different phases in any project, but in almost all large projects, around 30% of the project time is designated to planning, specification, and design. The more complex the project, the more you have to spend time on these phases, and the more you should take care not to make mistakes in these phases, because most of the times the consequences will be irreversible or irredeemable. AIs of proper caliber, by means of evolutionary algorithms and swarm intelligence, will be able to reach an optimized and maybe even perfect design and set the best course of action and planning parameters, schedules, and expenditure plan to reach that design. They would be able to achieve such feat because they would have access to a lot larger processing power, and their internal structure will allow them to have all the data and knowledge available simultaneously. AI's application in general sense is divided into two categories. Artificial general intelligence is the representation of generalized human ability in software form, so that faced with an unfamiliar task enables the AI system to find a solution. Similarly and broadly speaking, social intelligence is the capacity to understand others and to act rationally and emotionally in relation with others. In this respect, we want AIs to help us be better persons. One of the most important applications of AI is controlling motion and manipulation. All human tasks will eventually lead to a motion, from an electrical and signal motion and assembling a new machine to a large structural construction and production plant. The final stage that an AI can take part in during any activity or project is the physical motion and manipulation. When a perfect plan or design is devised, it needs execution. Some designs are even impossible to follow by our frail bodies and low level of accuracy. Today, a lot of precise installations such as electronic board assemblies and microprocessor manufacturing are being done by robots, and there are a lot of research to begin construction automation and mass production of machines by robotic applications. To understand the magnificence of AI in this respect, put all I have said together and for a moment imagine having a system that as receives an order or sees a need for a new device, simultaneously starts designing and planning a project. In one phase of the planning, it sees the need for several new components, so it starts designing them, and at the same time its hands and muscles, I mean robotics that it has commands over, starts the production of the required components and afterwards the assembly. In this way, the project design will be checked and set to correct path simultaneously, and total project time will be cut to a level otherwise unreachable. The possibilities and applications are simply infinite. Of course, this would be possible only when a super or at least a general AI is available, and that may take at least a few decades. Well, that's it for this video. In the next video, we will discuss the tools an AI uses. Remember, if you like the video, press subscribe and the bell button to be notified about the future videos. I hope you learned a thing or two.